In this video, I'm going to train Igor my Kestrel to the lure. Kestrels are a really versatile species. They're a falcon, so you can fly them to the lure, but in the wild, they're not really aerial hunters like most of the other falcon species, so you can also fly them to a glove. And of course, they hover. A lot of birds of prey do hover, but Kestrels are kind of famous for it, and it's really interesting to see them doing it. In terms of training Igor, I'm not following the exact falconry rules or the standard way of doing it in falconry. So typically to train a falcon, once you've reclaimed them from the molt, you would tether them to a perch and they'd be trained from that perch whilst being tethered. But with Igor, I'm going to try just training him free loft from the aviary, so he's never going to be tethered apart from when he's on the crants, the training line. So all the training is going to be done whilst he's free loft in an aviary. So it's day 2 training Igor the Kestrel. Now, yesterday I took him out of the aviary, I weighed him, I fed him on the glove. I've managed to bring him down to the weight that he was last flying at when he was last in training before he went for a molt. And today we're going to see if he will come to the lure. Now, Igor has never been trained to a lure before, and so usually when we're flying the falcons or training a falcon to the lure, we have to tether them to a perch and just drop the lure in front of them to introduce them to it so they can just jump onto it, start eating their food. But Igor seems really keen when he's seen lures in the past, even though he's never been trained to it before. So I'm going to skip that stage, I'm going to put him straight on the perch over there, and I'm going to stand a few meters away and just drop the lure onto the ground and see if he comes and gets it. So let's see what happens. Good boy. So I'm just letting him eat off the lure. I'm not going to take that off him because he's never eaten off this before. You don't take lures off falcons anyway, but I really need him to learn that that's his. He gets that reward, nobody's going to touch it. So he's mantling quite a lot, but hopefully the more and more we do this, more comfortable he'll get and the more he'll start to learn that nobody's going to take it from him. And then as soon as he's finished eating that, I'm going to get another piece of food out and try and convince him to come back onto the glove. Good boy. And then I need to hide that lure out of the way. So he stopped. Oh, he started again as soon as I started speaking, but he has started to fold his wings away properly. So already, just from 2 times to the lure, because I haven't taken that off him, I've just left him with it, he's starting to get comfortable and understand that there's no point mantling over it. So for day 2 of training, first time he's ever flown to a lure, that went really well, really positive. He did a little bit of mantling, but he didn't try and fly off with the lure, he didn't try and run away, dragging it with him. He just happily sat on it, eating the food, and then he stepped up to the glove once he'd finished really nicely as well. I'm really happy with that. I knew that Igor would be quite keen for the lure, but I wasn't expecting it to go as well as it has done for just day 2 of training. So we'll carry on again tomorrow. So it's day 3 with Igor, and today I'm going to increase the distance, but not only am I increasing the distance, I'm also going to dangle the lure in the air rather than dropping it on the floor, just to see if he'll come and catch it whilst it's dangling in the air, and that will help me later on when it comes to start doing passes. So I've put him quite far away today, and I'm going to get the lure out and see what happens. So that went really well. He didn't hesitate at all. As soon as that lure came out and I held it by the side, he took off and he took it straight out of the air, which is exactly what I wanted. Good boy. So it's day 4 with Igor, and rather than just dangling the lure, I'm going to try swinging it today. Again, I've increased the distance because we'll be doing that every single day to try and build up his fitness and get him going further. But yeah, I'm going to try and swing the lure, and then as he flies over, if he flies over whilst it's swinging, I'm going to try and chuck it up and pass it straight to his feet so he can catch it in the air and then bring it down to the floor himself. So that was Igor's first day free since he's been reclaimed from the molt. So he was reclaimed on Monday and he's gone free today on Thursday. So just 4 days. I'm really impressed at how well Igor has done. He's getting blown around a little bit by the wind, but he's eating his reward on the glove now. So I'm really happy with how that went. As soon as I started swinging the lure, he took off. He went from quite a far distance today. He didn't manage to catch it in the air. It sort of hit the floor before he managed to grab it. But he still came straight for that lure and he really wanted it. So that's a really good improvement from Monday. So tomorrow we're going to test him even further and I'm going to try and see if I can get in a pass. But for today, great job Igor. Very happy with that. To go from just sitting in an aviary for several months whilst he molted on Monday all the way to flying free today on Thursday is a massive improvement in such a short amount of time. He's also flying at a higher weight to the lure than what he was trained to a glove to. So when I was training him to a glove, I would have to take him all the way down to 165 grams just to get him to try and work with me. But he's handling training to the lure really well at a higher weight of about 180 grams. So I'm very impressed at what he's achieved, this lovely little bird, what he's achieved in the past 4 days. Moving forward in the future, depending on how well tomorrow goes, with a pass, I'm going to try a pass. In the future I'd like to start working on hovering as well. So I'd love to be able to have him flying to a lure and then when I put the lure away he comes and hovers above me. But for now let's just focus on getting some passes in and getting him properly flying to that lure. Okay, so Igor's training hasn't gone exactly how I planned it to, but to be honest, I've never actually trained a Kestrel to a lure before, so this was all a bit of a learning curve for me as well. The steps that I've done with Igor over the past week have been the steps that I've taken with every falcon that I've trained, and it has worked. It's got them to start doing passes, and then we build up on it from there. But with Igor, what I wasn't expecting is how well he could just stop and hover in front of me rather than actually doing a pass. Another side to it is that the past few days of training, whilst he's been flying free, we've had incredibly windy conditions. And that's also been allowing him to just completely stop and start hovering in front of me because he's flying into such strong winds. So moving forwards, I'm going to take it back a few steps, and I'm just going to try and really work on getting him to build up a load of fitness and coming after that lure and letting him have it and take it out of the air straight away, so that once he's built up all that fitness and he's used to just taking the lure out of the air, then hopefully we can revisit trying to do a pass and try and make an updated video where he is actually properly passing the lure. Now in this section of video that you've just watched, I was rewarding him every time I was dropping the lure. Now if it was any other falcon, then I wouldn't have been doing that, because they're not doing exactly what I want, they're not doing the pass that I want, and so they wouldn't get rewarded for it. But because it's Igor, because he's a Kestrel, and because I want to be able to train him to hover in the future, I thought it's not necessarily a bad thing that he is trying to hover right now, so I am going to reward him for it. So that's why I've been dropping the lure, even though he hasn't been doing passes. So at least he is still being rewarded for doing some hovering, which is what I would like him to do in the future. So I'm going to continue training Igor, I'm going to continue filming it, and then at some point I will release an updated video, hopefully showing off Igor doing loads of lovely passes to the lure with a load more fitness. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment about what you thought about this video. Please consider subscribing, and as always, thank you for watching.